Hello, ladies and gentlemen, Moltrap here again with Diggity, and we are going to be doing here game 2 of the first best of 7 between STX Seoul and Samsung Khan. And this is going to be none other than a battle of dragons. This is one of the reasons why I really wanted to cast this matchup, because of this game. Cal versus Jangbi we got going on here. Basically the best Protoss on the STX team by far. So it's debatable. It goes back and forth between Jangbi and Stork as far as who's the best Protoss on Khan. But either way, both these guys are amongst the top 5 Protoss in the world, and both have excellent Protoss versus Protoss games. I think Cal's is probably, well, it fluctuates, I guess. But anyway, it's going to be a great matchup either way. You just saw on the screen there they've actually met 11 times, and Cal has won 5 and Jangbi has won 6. And so these guys very, very evenly matched historically, and we'll see how they do today.
Yeah, there's so much history between these guys, let alone the MSL. Several times they've come head-to-head. Cal's knocked out Jangbi. I think Jangbi managed to knock out Cal once, and that was on their stint where they were in the Final Four several times in a row. Now we have Jangbi starting at the 3 o'clock position in blue. Looks like Cal is going to be starting at the 6 o'clock position in yellow, and this is on Neo Medusa. And I have to say, on this particular map, I've got to favor Cal. Jangbi is just so solid, so good with storms, has very nice large unit control, and I'd say that's where he tends to win over Cal. But Cal is creative, and he's extremely smart, and he's really good about sneaking scouts in when you don't expect him to sneak scouts in. I think that's one of the things he's basically the strongest at in the league, period. He can scout when no one else can, basically. He'll manage to sneak a probe in, he'll get an observer past turret line. He just always will throw in an off-time scout to get a nice little advantage into the mid-game. And on this map, Neo Medusa, where it's extremely difficult to scout, when there's a lot of creative possibilities, yeah, I gotta go with Cal here, even though it could go either way. It's just such a strong matchup.
Yeah, definitely. I think probably might be up there. I know Bisu is really, really good at sneaking the scouts in too, as well as July Zerg. When you mentioned that, those two guys came to mind. But uh-oh, mirror builds. They're both building their pylons at the same time. Sorry, just kidding. Anyway, yeah, these guys. If you recall, Jadong's first OSL win, he won against Cal. Cal got second place, and Cal had beaten Jangbi, I think in Game 5 of the semifinals to get to that position, if I recall correctly. So yeah, definitely, like, these guys have met in some really, really big games, and there's this woman praying again. Or doing something, at least. Maybe she's just, got a marble in her palms, and she just likes rubbing the marble with her hands, or something. Anyway, both players just going for gateway gas, to be pretty much expected. No one's going to go for any 12 Nexus or anything like that. It would be far too risky in this matchup. The other player would just try and bowl them over, especially on this map where you don't really have a ramp to defend. Anyway, it looks as if Cal, who I believe we mentioned is the 6 o'clock yellow, yeah, you did, okay, is scouting the wrong direction. Jangbi's going to get a quicker scout in a little bit, but it's not going to be too much of a big deal. Oftentimes you'll see in this matchup, you'll see the players, make sure they kill off the enemy scouting probe before they actually build their tech, or put down 3 extra gateways or something crazy like that sometimes. So anyway, we'll see how that happens. In fact, I think, I don't remember who it was. I think Bisu 4-gated Cal on this map, or Cal 4-gated Bisu on this map not that long ago. Anyway, but yeah, we won't be seeing too much about what these guys are going to do until after they kill off that scouting probe, I think. We're probably going to see standard play up to then, and who knows, but maybe we'll see some expansions. But again, on this map, and with players of these caliber, it's going to be hard to pull that off.
One thing I find interesting is it looks like there was a pylon put down by Cal before the cybernetics core to get a little bit of a probe advantage, to sneak a little bit of economy there. But additionally, I think that was the case, but additionally, yeah, his cybernetics core still not up. I like the placement of that pylon by Cal because he's making it hug that ramp where he could maybe place some hidden tech up to the north after he kills that probe, and that's just, I think, to throw Jangbi off a little bit, or maybe even use that where you could say, hey, you're scouting, you're running around trying to kill the scout in the base, there's 2 zealots out right this second, but maybe, just maybe, I'm deciding to put my tech up on the cliffside where you're not going to be able to scout it all the way around. Finally seeing the range going in. I think he's going to, no, okay, yeah, he's heading up the ramp now just to check that area out. just to be sure here. Let's see if the Zealots are able to pin that probe in now. As a result, second gateway there by Jangbi, so it looks like Jangbi might be doing something. Obviously I don't have the supply counts to get a really good look at it, but this almost looks like a pseudo 10-15 gate, but there's that Zealot first, and obviously that additional pylon range a little bit later. But it looks like some Dragoons are going to be filing up. There's that first Dragoon going to be able to finally take out Jangbi's scout as it runs around the base. But right now Jangbi looks like he's running up with a couple Dragoons to put in a single Zealot to maybe put on the pressure, and he might be able to pick off at least a Zealot, because keep in mind, 2 Zealots out in the field, he will have range, and even 1 Zealot at this stage of the game can be pretty significant. So 2 Zealots running forward, it looks like they're going to arrive just as range finishes, and I don't know that Cal's really going to be able to fight it off.
Yeah, this is a crucial moment here. Jangbi knows that he has this range advantage, and he's going to try and move in and do it. He's actually gone into attack before range has completely upgraded, as he's going to pull back a little bit here. And I was going to say, if neither player really does much with this, then it'll even out in the long term. But in the meantime, Jangbi will have range upgraded first. It looks like it has upgraded. Yes, he does have the range upgrade, so he's able to chase Cal back into his base. I'm surprised he's not chasing him a little farther in. Maybe he's worried about extra goons popping out and losing the number advantage. But now that he has range, he's got a brief window of time where he has definite map advantage over Cal and is able to press in and put a lot of pressure on here. And here he comes in. He's going to try and pick off a single Dragoon. Oh, nice micro by Cal, pulling that back. Again, still no range here. It's the Zealot. Oh, geez, the Dragoon not quite going down to that Zealot either. But Jangbi has managed to pick off at least one of his Zealots, but he lost the Zealot as well. So things turning out pretty much even despite that. Oh, no, he doesn't target down that one with low hit points. No, he doesn't kill off the one with low hit points. And, oh, man, he had an advantage there. If he pressed that a little bit farther and killed off that last Dragoon with his reinforcement Dragoon coming in, he could have picked off maybe another Dragoon. But a little bit of squandering of that momentary advantage, it might not be too big a deal in the long run, but winning those early engagements can be a big deal. It looks like he's going to actually take advantage of the fact that he's been able to put pressure on Cal to expand here. Cal's going to have observers out in just a moment. He's going to be able to see it. And both players are getting their robotic support base down, so we are going to see Goon Reaver play here.
One difference here is that Jangbi, after seeing everything in the base with those Dragoons, he got to see the gateways, he got to see the robotics facility. He's not going to need that observer for a little bit longer.
True.
He knows that he's not going to see DT for a while. So nice little advantage pushing those Dragoons in the base, at least able to get the scout. And it looks like he's going to continue to put the pressure on, maybe be able to pick off that Zealot and retreat before, without losing anything, but it looks like actually, he's going to hold up on that temple wall, maybe take some pot. Well, no, okay, now he's moving in. For a second there, I thought he was going to take some pot shots at that temple. But it looks like he is actually going to push those Dragoons in. Maybe wants to take out those Zealots on the front. The Zealots now pushing back a little bit, and I think this is going to be about even numbers of Dragoons, and if Jangbi's not careful, he's going to be facing superior numbers with reinforcements. The other thing Jangbi might be doing is he might just be holding those Dragoons in the front position, so while he's getting his expansion up, while he's going to have a shuttle at about an equivalent time, he can keep that pressure on the front door with his Dragoons, with his Reaver, and basically Cal's not going to have an opportunity to go harass that second base when it goes up, more or less, although it doesn't look like Jangbi did in fact decide to put a mineral only up. But so now in Observer, and that's going to be the difference here, the Observer up in the front, the Observer that Jangbi didn't need, Probe getting immediately squashed, but at least it's seeing those forces out in the field. And additionally, this could be a big problem for Cal. He's going to have to, oh wow, Jangbi's going to bring that shuttle in from behind and force these groups to be at 2 places at once. This is really going to disrupt Cal. Ooh. There's the first Reaver shot. Oh, gets 5 probes. So nice hit, already successful, and there's not a lot Cal could do about that. He couldn't really split his forces. He had to engage at one front or the other. And as a result, yeah, big, nice little, not a big advantage, but a nice little advantage for Jangbi early, and that might be enough to ride all the way into the mid-game and then to the early game. Observer coming out, and also an Observer getting sniped. So Cal in the dark now. Can't really spot that shuttle coming in from either direction. You can see the nervousness on Cal's face. Jangbi really acting like a predator out in the field now. Just really feeling it, putting on the pressure, expanding himself, and Cal's just in the base, in the dark, and he's got to be worried about what Jangbi's going to throw at him next.
Yeah, I had seen that probe go up, and that's why I thought he was going to put down an expansion, but it was pretty wise not to keep this pressure up. And now that he's really, really, really got Cal pinned in his base, now he's putting up that expansion, and all he has to do is keep up this pressure for just a couple minutes longer, maybe 3 or 4 minutes longer, to keep Cal in his base, keep Cal from getting an expansion, and then he'll have the game because it'll be 2-1 economy, and that's just not a position you can really be in unless Cal pulls off something really, really brilliant. And that was brilliant, going with the Dragoons to pressure the front and then going in with the Reaver in the back. That was beautifully done, absolutely beautifully done. And it looks like Cal is going to push out here. Jangbi having spent that money on that extra base, he's going to have to fall back a little bit, but he's gained enough that he can afford it. And look, he's got pretty much even Dragoons. He's got 2 Reavers now as well. Actually, he's got more Dragoons. So it's just going to... Oh, and here comes the battle. A couple Reavers dropping out. He needs to land those Scarabs. Scarabs going off. One actually hits the other Reaver. Both players just getting nice Scarabs off, doing really good micro with their shuttles, but I think Jangbi just a little bit more. He does have a couple more Dragoons. Dragoons coming in from the back for Cal. Loses a Reaver. Cal has lost one of his Reavers. He's going to have to turn tail and run. He had a couple less Dragoons, and by the end of that battle, 12 Dragoons to 10 isn't as big of a deal as 3 Dragoons to 1, and after losing that Reaver, he had no chance of winning that battle and was forced to retreat, so Jangbi holds, and that was Cal's one chance to go back and put some counter pressure on Jangbi. He has lost that chance, and unless Jangbi makes a catastrophic mistake or Cal makes some sort of ridiculously awesome counter move here, Jangbi is just going to be able to ride his economic advantage to the win, because he's going to be able to put out more production in just another couple minutes. That expansion will really start being useful, and then he'll be able to just overrun him.
I really want to emphasize the fact that Observer was picked off earlier, and Cal, as a result, was going into a much superior force. Cal looks like he might be going for... okay, never mind. He's just transferring way too many probes. That's... For a second there, I thought he was pulling his probes to go in for an attack. But speed shuttle from Jangbi to sneak in... Maybe he just wants them at that front where they're easier to defend. But yeah, he transferred a lot of probes there. Some Dragoons kind of stumbling through the line. Looks like they are kind of getting spot of this shuttle and this Reaver here. The Reaver gonna... for a second there, looks like it was going to hold the ramp. It's going to take a couple shots. So shuttle speed not really paying off for Jangbi here. He's going to have to back out. But he still has a much superior economy. He's going to have a lot more gateways, putting down actually 5 gateways compared to Cal's 4, and he's going to be able to pump out of it further and taking an additional Nexus. That's how far economically he is ahead right now. And yeah, I don't think Cal's going to be able to catch up in this game. I don't think he's ever going to have an army size that's equivalent. It's going to be up to Jangbi either to make a huge mistake or Cal, yeah, just to do something absolutely completely brilliant, which I don't put past him to get back in this match. Another Observer getting picked off in the field, which is huge, because Cal's a lot like Bisu in that regard, where he plays really well. I don't think he plays as well as Bisu when he kind of has that information advantage, but when he doesn't have information, he plays very, very uncomfortably. I think that's true of all players, some more than others. But yeah, right now, Cal in the dark, all he can do is absorb attacks, and the more time he spends in his base, the more time he's going to end up falling behind. Let's see if Jangbi actually uses this opportunity, knowing that he has a troop advantage, to use the Reavers to open up that temple wall. I think that would actually be a pretty sly maneuver to make sure that Cal has to defend 2 fronts at once and never has an opportunity to attack. Right now, he's got a good-sized Dragoon force out on the front, and he should be transitioning into High Templars here in a minute. And it looks like Jangbi, yeah, just now transferring a good number of probes to his back. That's 5 instead of 12, like it seemed Cal was transferring there.
Well, he had a lot of probes built up because he had been pumping them out for a while there. But anyway, yeah, I think basically what Cal needs here is he needs to get the speed upgrade on his shuttle, and he needs to do a suicide run and run some Reavers in and just destroy a ridiculous amount of probes of Jangbi's. That's how he can come back in this game. And it's going to be up to Jangbi to defend that, to have Dragoons in place or cannons to block against that. But otherwise, I think Jangbi's going to take it in the long run. Now, he's kind of let up a little bit on the pressure and enabled Cal to actually catch up in expansions, but here comes the pressure. 2 shuttles coming in, 2 Dragoons coming out of one, couple Reavers coming out of another. That's going to be more than enough to finish off these Dragoons. He's doing some good focus firing, though, but he has the shuttle there as well. It takes out all 3 Dragoons without losing a single unit, pressuring the front as well. Cal having to force to concentrate on 2 different fronts. He's not concentrating on his front. He loses a single Reaver. He finally picks it up and pulls it back. And Jangbi, I'm not sure why he didn't go in with that. Maybe he was just concentrating on too much at once, but he had the advantage there. But now he's probably going to get this 3rd base shut down for Cal in the back. And if he does, no, he's going to pull out. Actually, he's not going to even bother pumping down Scarabs on that Nexus. But anyway, either way, he still has an advantage. He still has more mining going on. He still has that 3rd base going, whereas Cal just getting out. Both players getting Templar out at pretty much the same time as well. And oh, here comes what Cal is hoping is his evener. His evener. What will even things up for him is the DT drop, the great equalizer. If you can catch your opponent off guard, it can get you right back in the game. I remember Bisu losing a game to a relatively unknown Protoss that he had completely beaten, and it was just a matter of time. And then the other guy, I don't remember who it was, just threw he loses the shuttle. Oh, Cal's chances destroyed by a volley of disruptor blasts, and wow, that was pretty much it. I mean, Dark Templar can do a lot, but not if they're killed before the shuttle can even land them. So that's pretty much GG in my book.
Yeah, he's going to get 1 probe before dying there. Ouch. And oof, that was terrible. One thing I wanted to mention I did like from Cal earlier is that pylon placement next to the Nexus. So those Reavers were just kind of incompetently sitting there, and some Dark Templar of his own rushing in, and it looks like another Dragoon attack. Those Dragoons backing off against those 3 Reavers. But yeah, that's 3 Reavers and a Dark Templar. Not fair. Just absolutely not fair. Troops getting knocked out. A Zealot at least getting in there in the mix, and there's some High Templar already produced out in the field, and I think that's going to be it. Jangbi continuing. I don't feel like he needs to pressure this front door. I'm not sure why he keeps throwing the Dragoons there. I guess it's just to make sure that stays put. But he's going to drop this. He's probably going to lose the shuttle. Yeah, going to lose the shuttle, but at the very least, he's going to be able to either kill that cannon, kill some additional Dragoons, or maybe even get some probes. Looks like the probes have already run to safety, but I feel like the amount of kills those Reavers, even the distraction factor, Jangbi can lose 3 Reavers. He'll still have the High Templar. He'll still have the speed shuttles. He'll still have an army of Zealots moving across the field. And yeah, I still don't feel like there's much that Cal can do.
Wow, yeah. I definitely think he has the advantage there. Critically, though, he hasn't really killed much in the way of probes in any of these attacks, and he has lost several units. I think he's killed more than he's lost. But he's been killing off Dragoons and losing his tech units. But here he comes in with a huge attack force, a ton of Zealots coming in. It's too much pressure. Cal trying to run those Reavers out of the way, loses the shuttle, and now that last Reaver's defenseless. It goes down to some Dragoon fire, having to pull off probes to fight Zealots, and an equal number of Zealots to probes is not a good situation you want to be in. High Templar coming in here, but just doesn't have energy yet, and Archons and backup Zealots coming in just to seal the deal. If he can break this door, he will definitely win the game. If not, he's killed a lot of probes already. He's having to run his probes out now. And Jangbi with too many forces. This is the end for Cal. He's slow. He just manages to pick off that Archon, but 4 Dragoons left and 2 Zealots. Down to 2 Dragoons, just a couple Zealots left. Outnumbered 2-1. This is going to be game. We're going to see GG any second now. There's GG coming from Cal. So, wow. Samsung Khan going up 2-0 in the first set of their playoffs here with some absolute great play, and that was an awesome game to watch.
Yeah. Zealots and Dragoons and Archons, oh my. There's, not a lot Cal could do. I have to say, Jangbi played brilliantly right from the onset all the way through. Really deserved that win. That was excellent play.
Yeah, just overpowered him with masses in the end there. GG. Alright, game 3 time.